Very welcome back to Ireland AM. Now we're out in the garden with Paraic Horkan this morning, and Paraic's just made me even more depressed. The fact that it's raining and cloudy and even a bit cool. How many weeks to autumn?
2 weeks to autumn.
2 weeks to autumn.
So it's time for preparing for autumn, really. I suppose that's the theme, Alan. And at this time of year, there's a whole range of colour that's just coming into flower now, but it's going to flower right through the winter period. And I always think it's autumn when the tulips and the daffodils come into the garden
Because you have to
centres.
start planting them now.
You start planting now, and any garden centres are full of spring flowering bulbs and winter flowering bulbs as well. But they're super for containers. And today I'm going to plant up this container. This is one of my favourite tulips. It's one called Red Riding Hood. It's got variegated foliage and beautiful red, large red, scarlet red flowers in early spring.
But I suppose if you want to keep a bit cheery in the garden, you need to have a bit of colour in it right throughout the autumn and the winter months.
Absolutely, but putting the bulbs in first, because bulbs are foolproof. Just whack them into the compost like that, putting them down about 4 or 5 inches, right down deep into the compost, and they'll actually push their way right up through the plants over the winter and spring periods. So they'll give you a lovely blast of colour. But plants I'm going to use things like the cyclamen, which are lovely at the moment, giving great colour.
So you put the bulbs right down and then you put these in on top of them.
On top of them, and don't worry, even if you disturb a bulb, the actual the bulb will come up through that cyclamen as we go through the winter period. Winter heathers are great at the moment. They're giving lovely colour, and again they're going to start flowering now, but continue right through till April of next year. So a really easy plant. Great.
I love a nice heather. They really do give great coverage, don't they?
Don't they? And they're so easy to grow, and they grow in any soil types. How about this? There's a beautiful plant.
What's that now?
They're the hot peppers. They're grown for the colour in the actual fruits. The fruits are edible if you want, but they give lovely colour right through the autumn and winter period. You can see the colour
sort of red ones there as well, but the yellow is very attractive.
It's nice, isn't it? And that's a lovely purple or kind of deep red variety. But again, great in pots and containers, great for a splash of colour, something you can put right at the front of the pot like that. Now again,
it'd be lovely at your front door or something like that.
Front door,
that type of thing.
Yeah, you can use them in hanging baskets, window boxes, you can use them in flower borders and beds. Winter pansies, Alan, these are great as well. They're going to flower right through the winter period. And again, you can put 2 or 3 of those in around the edge of the pot. And again, they're going to give colour till April, maybe May of next year.
And if you weren't doing it in pots, is the soil very soggy at the moment?
It's
planting.
It's quite wet at the moment, particularly after last night's rain. But give it a day or two, it's going to dry up very quickly as well. So border soil, certainly by the weekend, will be ready to plant.
Don't do it today.
No, it's a little bit heavy. That heavy rain last night. It's going to take maybe 24 hours for that to drain away. But the weather for the next couple of days is promised a lot better. So planting containers, the other key thing to do at this time of year is taking cuttings. And as we come into autumn, it's a great time to propagate your own plants. And one of my favourite plants are the geraniums. People love
Look what you're doing there. Okay. Oh my God, see, I would be terrified now to do that. I'd be going, oh, look at that, you're after ruining it.
If you want new plants for next year, geraniums are perfect for taking. You strip off the leaves, you strip off the flowers, any flower buds like that, you prune them back, you strip it down like that, Alan. You get yourself a small tub of rooting powder, simple little tub, one called Strike. That'll do hundreds of cuttings. You dip the base of the cutting into the hormone rooting powder, and all we do then is insert it into compost that has added perlite. So it's a kind of that white material gives added drainage.
And that was in there as well. So do you need to do that? Added perlite?
It gives good drainage, and it helps the plants actually root a lot easier. And that can be done not just for geraniums, but can be done from plants like hebes. For many garden shrubs, this is the time of year in late August that we take cuttings. So it's a great way of propagating plants.
See, a lot of people are too nervous to go back the way you've done it there.
That's very important, to strip off the flowers, strip off the leaves. That stops the loss of water, and you just insert the cutting then into the pot. And in a pot like that, we can fit 30 or 40 cuttings, cover with a polythene bag, sit it on a windowsill, and you've got beautiful new plants that'll have rooted by
for next year.
Now
we have to mention the new legislation on pesticides, and I was saying to you, well, it probably wouldn't affect many just people who are looking in this morning you're just average gardener, but you're saying you don't know.
Absolutely, there's a huge amount of people this is going to affect. Now for amateur gardeners like ourselves, the regular products like Rose Clear, Slug Clear, there's absolutely no effect on the amateur gardener. But for some amateur gardeners actually buy agricultural products like Roundup, like this Basta, which they use in their gardens. And from the 26th of November, you won't be able to use these products in your garden unless you're a registered user. And to become a registered user, you have to do a specific training course. So from November 26th, you will not be able to use this product or any agricultural.
If you go to buy this, should it not be up to the shop or wherever you're buying it from to make sure that you are registered?
That's one of the points, and they'll ask you for your name, address. Once you purchase the product, they'll register you as a purchaser of the product, and the department may check to see have you used the product in your garden or on your farm.
If you have any kind of a big garden that you're using this type of thing, you have to go on a course?
You have to go on a course and become a registered user. Now, it is new EU legislation. The legislation is actually in at the moment, and from November 26th, people will have to be a registered user. It's a little bit confusing. I've written a fact sheet on it, and that's available on my website, horkans.ie. Okay. So if you go on there, you can download the fact sheet. It explains everything that you need to do. But it is coming in, it is law, and people need to look out for it.
So go on to horkans.ie, all the information, because as I said earlier on, I said it wouldn't affect many of our viewers, and you were saying, no, it will. So horkans.ie, and as you said, and we're looking at it here, there is some great colour still out there. Get planting now, and you'll have it right through the autumn into the winter, and then of course plant the bulbs for next year. Paraic, thank you very much for that. We're going to take a quick break. Still lots to come. We'll see you in a few minutes.